everyone. Today we're going to go through the Maintaining Mathematical Proficiency portion in your student journal. We're going to be on page 58 to start. So go ahead and flip to that page. What we're going to start out with is super basic. You've done it before, but we're just going to make sure we remember how to do it because it's going to help us as we move forward through these next couple of units. So for this first section, we're plotting the point in a coordinate plane. Describe the location of the point. So all that means, big fancy words, all this mumbo jumbo. We're simply saying that we're going to put those numbers onto the number line or onto the graph and then describe where it is on that graph by saying the quadrant number. So first off, some key things to remember when we're graphing points onto a graph is the first number is always our x value and the second one is always our y. X is going to tell us how far we're going to go across our x-axis, whereas our y is going to tell us how far we're going to go up and down. So for this first one, it tells us -3. So that means we have to find -3 on our x-axis. There's -1, -2, -3. Now from there, we have to find our y value, and that is 1. So that means we're going to go up 1, which means our coordinate point is right there. And to describe where this one is, in case you forgot what the quadrants were, because I know it's probably been a minute since we've dealt with graphs, this first one is 1. We use Roman numerals for this, so it looks like an I. This one is 2. The one down below is 3, and this last one is 4. So obviously we can say right away that it is in quadrant 2. So you can just write quad 2. And that's all we're going to do on these next couple of ones. So I'll do the next one with you, and then I'm going to have you do 3 and 4 on your own. So looking at B, first things first, we got to deal with the x. So I'm going over to the +2. So that's right there. Next, I have to go up +2. So that leads me right there. And based off of the last one, we know that is quadrant 1. So quad 1. So pause here, go ahead and try 3 and 4 on your own. Okay, if you're just joining us back, the first one, so number 3, we went over 1 and it said 0, so we're going to stay right where we're at, and that means we're on our x-axis. Number 4, we go over 5, up 2, both positive numbers for quadrant 1. So that's something to note is right away with both 4 and 2, we're in that quadrant 1 and all of our numbers are positive. So that's something to remember. It's going to help us out later on. So we're going to go ahead and move on to number 5. It says plot the point that is on the y-axis and 5 units down from the origin. So the origin, in case you forgot what that is the point 0, 0. So this is home base. It's where you're originating from no matter what you're doing. So that is 0, 0. Then it says our point is going to be on our y-axis. So that means we have to be along there somewhere. So we're not going to be out in a quadrant. We are on the y-axis because it tells us on the y-axis. Then it tells us 5 units down. So that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to go down 5 units. So down 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So now, just to make sure we know what this point is, well, we didn't go across our x-axis at all, so our x value is going to be 0. Then we went down 5, so our number is not going to be +5 for y, it's going to be -5. And so that would be the coordinate of that point. Okay, so that kind of covers the basics of graphing, just simple points, little pieces of information that are extremely helpful. Next, we're going to move on to evaluating the expression for the given value of x. So when it says evaluate, all that means is we're going to take whatever they tell us x is and we plug it back into the equation. So for example, on this first one, they say x equals 3. So we have an x right there. So that means that 3 is getting plugged in for x. So now we're going to have 2 times 3 plus 1. And we have to solve it. 2 times 3 gives me 6. 6 plus 1 gives me 7. And that's all you have to do on these ones. Don't try and overthink it. All it is simply plugging in the number for the letter and then solving the math problem. So let's go ahead and do number 7 together. Same thing, we're going to take this -4 and we're plugging it in for x. So now we have 16 minus 4 times -4. Right away, I have a -4 times a -4. Two negatives make a positive. So this is going to become 16 plus 16, which gives me 32. Go ahead and pause here and try numbers 8 and 9 on your own. Alrighty, if you're just joining back, we have -17 for number 8 and -24 for number 9. Okay, we have one last question to do in this, and then this is where you'll break off and start working on your notes in a separate video. So the length of a side of a square is represented by 24 minus 3x feet. What is the length of the side of the square when x equals 6? So this is a whole lot of words and mumbo jumbo. We're doing the same thing that we just did. So just because it has all of these words in there, they're there to distract you, trying to see if you can make your way through all of this mess to figure out what to do. So it's the same thing we just did. We have our expression, we have what our variable is. We're just going to plug in the number for the variable and solve. So we have 24 minus 3 times 6. So 24 minus 18. And then we do that and we get 6. So the length would be 6 feet. And that is your answer. Because it has a label, you got to put a label on there so you can make sure that you get the answer fully correct. So this is all you need to make sure that you have down pat before moving forward. And after this, we're going to move on into your notes.